Hi guys, Year 9, welcome back. We're on week 8, session 3 of our new topic, rhetoric and persuasion. Now, just a quick, just putting it out there really, I'm seeing some lovely work being sent in. Some people like to upload and show me what they've done each week. Now, that is not an absolute must, but I love to see it. Really encourages me to see how wonderfully you're working, and I do put points on. But obviously, there are certain checkpoints that have to be met. The quizzes, and also because this is going to lead to a speech which is going to be recorded in the new year as part of your GCSE. Obviously, there are going to be tighter checkpoints where we really want to see that you're working. So please make sure if there is an issue with any of the work, anything you don't understand, you speak to me or let your teachers know, okay? We don't want to get to the end point if you guys writing a speech and you being like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, just check in with us through the process. So we've introduced this idea that rhetoric, persuasive language, language that's designed to influence and persuade, is made up of what we call different figures. Now, really, a rhetorical figure, I suppose we might use a modern term like a device. What are the devices that are used in a speech that make it memorable, striking, that make it persuasive? Okay, and how can we use rhetorical figures effectively? So if you just make sure, if you like a title to your work, that you're writing that down. And the truth is, people get really cynical about this stuff and they say, well, nobody would do that on purpose, or that doesn't happen. So we are going to build as well this week to seeing a writer using some of these devices. But I also just challenge you, start listening to the news, start looking at the world around you, advertising, any charity promotional materials that come through your door. You will see that actually there is a huge market of materials that we encounter on a daily basis that use these rhetorical figures. It is out there, guys. People are still using it, even though it's thousands of years old, the philosophy of this. And for me, anything that doesn't become obsolete, anything that doesn't disappear over time, but actually is strengthened over time. So if we're still using some of these rhetorical figures 2,000 years later, guys, it works. Okay? There is something about this that works. All right. So we are going to just do our daily review. Okay, I'm going to read through our tasks. Then you press pause and make sure you make a record in your book. And then we'll go through the answers together. Okay, so what do the words ethos, logos, and pathos mean? Okay, so what do the words ethos, logos, and pathos mean? Now, guys, in your answers, you don't have to do full sentences. It can be keywords just to check in. Okay, so what is antithesis? Number 2, what is antithesis? Number 3, which illusion could represent an impossible and endless task? Would we talk about a Sisyphean task or a Herculean effort? And which illusion could represent a heroic response to a challenging and difficult task? Would we talk about this the Sisyphean task then, or Herculean effort? Okay, and what's the word specious mean? So you've got 5 starting tasks just to kind of get us anchored back into what we were doing yesterday. Okay, so just press pause and complete your answers. Okie dokie. So ethos, logos, pathos. So ethos, I will accept credibility, trust, the creation of a face, a persona, a public persona that people like, that they find persuasive. I will accept knowledgeable, an expert, a good person. So that's the ethos. It's all about the face that you present as the speaker. Okay, and fundamentally, you want people to trust you and to believe in you, to find you credible. Okay, so logos then moves away from how I present myself to how I try to start to persuade my audience. And logos means that I'm going to appeal to, yes, brilliant, you got it, their logic, their reason. I'm going to use facts. I'm going to use statistics. I'm going to use syllogisms. I'm going to use particular devices that appeal to their logic, their reason, and their logical brains. So with logos, I'm appealing to the mind and the brain of my audience. So with pathos, what am I appealing to, guys? Absolutely. Pathos is about the emotions, the values, and the beliefs of an audience, how their heart responds. So logos, my head, pathos, my heart, ethos, my face. Okay, that's how I like to remind them. So antithesis means the use of opposites. It's one of those rhetorical figures we introduced this week, to use opposites. I'm hot and I'm cold. I'm in and I'm out. I'm up and I'm down. Okay, my little antithesis. So if we were going to create an illusion or use an illusion to represent an impossible and endless task, which Greek myth do we go to? Absolutely, we go to Sisyphus and his Sisyphean task. Okay, which means answer number 4 is Herculean effort. So Hercules, the Herculean effort is a positive spin on a situation. Yes, it's challenging, it's difficult, but we're going to be heroic, we're going to overcome it. Whereas Sisyphean task suggests something that's impossible and endless. And it has a bit more of a negative, it's a bit more of a downer, that one, that even though we're trying really hard, we're not quite getting where we want to be. Okay? And what does the word specious mean? Could be right, but you're wrong. Absolutely. So it means an opinion, or it's linked into this idea of a counter argument where it could be plausible, but really it's wrong. Okay, so there's a degree of plausibility in what you're saying, but really you're wrong. All right, my lovelies. So make sure if you've got any of those wrong that you do just quickly make a note of the right answers. So you've got that foundation of truth. And moving on to what we're doing today. Okay, what are we doing today? Oh no, I've lost it. Okay, so today we're building knowledge of more rhetorical figures. Now, it does say here, fun with rhetorical figures. Got to confess, I actually do enjoy language play. I enjoy puns. I enjoy the creativity of language. So for me, this fun with rhetorical figures isn't even ironic. I actually quite enjoy what we're going to look at today. I really love the creativity. Now, what we're going to move to today, okay, is that we're going to experiment with key rhetorical techniques that are used at a sentence level. So whole sentence level features that come all the way back from Aristotle's Art of Persuasion. Okay, and part of that was to identify certain ways that you could structure a sentence, that you could put words and ideas together within sentences that create that persuasive, memorable, and striking effect. So we're going to just craft at a sentence level today. We're going to craft some sentences that follow the patterns that have come from Aristotle's work on rhetoric. Now, what you're going to see, so we've got to get used to this colour. Anything in yellow, that's me, I'm doing it. Your job is to do the bits in blue. So as we start to work through these, I'm going to give you a yellow example. I've already written some sentences to show the different figures. And I'm going to use the topic of trying to persuade people that cars should be banned from town centres. But your job, okay, and you will see this as we work through, is to try and use the same technique, but you're going to write your own sentence using that technique on a slightly different topic. So it stops that copying. Okay, it's going to encourage you to create your own example in a creative way. Okay, but your topic is going to be to persuade people that adverts for unhealthy food should be banned. Now, remember, as we go through this, you don't copy my task, you do your task, okay? And I'll make it clear what I want you to write down. Once we've done the first couple, you'll get into the flow of this, so you just got to trust me. Okay, so my task, I'm going to be writing about the idea that cars are noisy, dirty, smelly, and downright dangerous, and that they should be banned from all town centres. So I'm going to be writing some sentences to be part of a speech to be delivered to my local council, in which I persuade them to ban cars from the local town centre. Your task is different. Look at your task. Adverts for food and drink high in sugar or fat should be banned because they cause health problems for a lot of people. So that's your opinion. You're going to be writing sentences about banning adverts for food and drink high in sugar. Okay, that's going to be a part of a bigger speech in the House of Parliament that aims to persuade MPs to ban advertising for unhealthy foods. So guys, what I need you just to do and pause is not write down my task. No. You're going to write down the blue side. Okay, and you're just going to write down adverts for food and drink in high in sugar or fat should be banned because they cause health problems for a lot of people. Okay, and the next little bit, you're going to write this sentence down as well. Write a speech to be delivered in the House of Parliament that aims to persuade MPs to ban advertising for unhealthy foods. Now, guys, you can pause at this point. Okay, and just write that down. Okay, guys, so on each slide now, I'm going to introduce you to a fun rhetorical figure. So fun. Okay, I'm going to show you my example. I'm going to explain how my example is a fun rhetorical figure, and then you're going to have a practice. Okay, so now, guys, this is the Greek. Okay, and I'm going to be honest, particularly when I'm recording and really self-conscious, if I muck up a pronunciation, be kind, don't judge me. Okay, but we have from the Greek then all the way back from Aristotle what we call hyperporia. Hyperporia, I'm just gonna style it out and say it confidently. Hyperporia. Now, actually, that Greek term is for an idea that's really familiar, maybe. It's where you ask, but then answer a rhetorical question. So our first technique that we're gonna have a little bit of fun with, hyperporia, asking and answering a rhetorical question. So let's look at my example. So, is there a way to improve the air quality for millions of people? Oh, look, I've posed my rhetorical question. I've got my question mark showing that it's clearly a question. I've got my is framing the question. And here comes my answer. The answer is yes, simply by banning cars from our town centre. So can you see, because I've got my topic that I'm writing about, banning cars, yours is going to be different. So in a minute when you practice yours, you've got to be thinking you're writing about a different topic. You're not trying to ban cars from the town centre. Why would you? You can't drive. I am. You're trying to ban adverts that sell sugary, fatty, deliciously bad for you foods. Okay, so let's have a little go. Now, I'm going to do just one with you, and then you're going to get more independent. So what could be a problem? Why are people actually concerned about the amount of fat and health and sugar that people eat? Okay, so we hear a lot about obesity, about diabetes, about the long-term health implications, okay? So I could say, is there a way to reduce the level of obesity in the UK? There's my question. Is there a way to reduce the level of obesity in the UK? So I've posed a rhetorical question, and here comes my answer. The answer is yes, simply by, what are we looking to do? Banning adverts that make sugary and fatty foods irresistible. Okay, so pause it. You don't write my copy out. Now, guys, I would think it would be really good if you write down the definition, hyperporia, asking and answering a rhetorical question, and then your practice sentence. Okay? Have fun. I'm laughing because it's fun with rhetorical figures. I actually do like sentence play and puns and things. So this makes me happy. This is like a game. I'm like playing with myself. Okay, let's see if I can play the game and say this one. So, rhetorical figure number 2. Andiolopoulos. Andiolopoulos. Antiplosis. Okay, so that's the Greek word. But what does it really mean? It means that you start a new sentence with the same word used to end the last sentence. Okay, let's get our heads around that. You start a new sentence with the same word used to end the last sentence. Sentence? I have to start it with the same word I ended the sentence on. See what I did there? A little bit of on the spot. And the loplius. Starting a new sentence with the word used to end the last sentence. Lovely. Lovely. We're going to start a new sentence. Okay, so here's my serious example that is all to do with my topic of banning cars from the city centre. Are you ready? Cars choke our atmospheres with fumes. So can you see I've ended that sentence? There's my full stop. So the word before that is fumes. So now I have to begin my next sentence with the word fumes. Fumes that can cause terrible lung conditions. Cars choke our atmosphere with fumes. Fumes that can cause terrible lung conditions. Now, guys, on the one that you have to practice, I've given you where you could start it. Unhealthy foods. Could talk about cause, choke. So think about what unhealthy foods do. But what you've got to remember is whatever word you end that sentence on becomes the starting sentence of the starting word, of your next sentence. So you can pause now and do it for yourself. Or if you want a little bit of extra help, you can just stay and listen to me, okay? So it's up to you. Be completely independent. Pause now or stay with me. So guys, what have we already said? So one of the concerns about unhealthy foods could be obesity or diabetes. So we could say unhealthy foods are a contributing factor to obesity. So I've just ended my first sentence with obesity. So now obesity needs to become the beginning word of my next sentence. So unhealthy foods have been shown to be a cause of obesity. Full stop. Obesity puts a huge strain on the NHS and is an unnecessary illness that can be cured by making healthy choices. So actually that went into being quite a bit of a long sentence. We could have kept it short. Unhealthy foods lead to obesity. Obesity needs to be prevented. So it really is about starting a new sentence with the same word used to end the last one. Okay, so everybody can either steal that one that we just did or just now complete your own.